Hello, everyone. This is another Freedom to Feel conversation, and my guest today is Melissa Alexander. She is a highly skilled rapid transformational therapy hypnotherapist, RTT, and the founder of Align BMS Energy, Align Body and Mind Consciousness. But Melissa is also the author of the upcoming book, A Journey to Emotional Healing and Self-Discovery. So this is my brief introduction to you, Melissa. The full bio will be at the end. The question, we'll talk about your book, of course, the upcoming book, and then so many other topics
Yeah.
that I made some extra notes here. But I love asking this question to everyone when we meet, and it never left me. It's been 5 years now. And the question kind of changed the last 4 or 5 days, and I don't know exactly why. So I'll test that on you. But I
Okay.
did test it on
Okay.
other people too. I asked them.
Okay.
So how would you introduce yourself without labels? If you can, who are you in your own words in this very moment without any labels?
I am just one, like I am just one with everything. We're we're just all connected. Like my soul, I don't know, my soul is who I am. I always say our souls live in these skin suits. That's what I say. And without a label, like the things about me don't make me. I am who I am on the inside, and there is no label for that. I don't know. Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yes, I love that. The soul, right, and has been described that way. That's almost like it's pristine, it's pure, and it has it's almost like pure potential. It can become anything. It can transform. It's not even transforming because it had to be something before. So it's pure potential. Gosh, that must be amazing too. Some people have had the experience of almost like starting all over again after, they call it spiritual awakening or like a
Yeah.
rebirth, that just they become something that they never imagined to become as an
Yeah.
expression of life itself. So yeah, I love your answer. And that's one that I wouldn't use the word soul, just because there's a lot of other labels connected to it or ideas or identifications. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's very, very close. It might be, it's just the same thing. We're using words, right, Melissa?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to put words to what we think and feel, and I just feel like we are so much more than labels and what people perceive us or we perceive ourselves as. We're just we're just who we are, and really that comes down to stripping everything away to just being love, like just leading with love. You're just this infinite being of love. That's what we're capable of, and it's amazing when you can get there.
One of the things that I hear over and over again when I ask questions about the purpose of life and what experiences would you kind of wish that other people would have, and I hear that always comes up, love comes up. Always at the end of life, what would you wish to have had more? Love is always something that comes up. And I know we have
Yeah.
different definitions for love, but it might be that pure potential again, like what you just
uh,
said, the interconnectedness of it all, feeling one with life. And
yeah.
that's what is interesting. That's what the natural world does naturally. It just embraces everything. And
That's what nature is, right? And when we connect and we become one with nature, we see the synchronicities. We sing with the birds, we feel the air, we listen to the water. Like I feel like that's when I'm in my truest self, is when I'm truly connected to the earth.
yeah, I feel the same
Yeah.
way. And it's the interesting thing, Melissa, it's that's very simple, isn't it?
It's so simple. There's no right or wrong. There's no expectations. There's no pressure. It's just to be.
Talk to me about going back to the expression of you in this life as a hypnotherapist. How did you come to to this calling specifically?
It was just yeah, it was kind of a wild experience. It was COVID times, and my mom. I moved 7 hours to be with my mom who had Alzheimer's, and I had left my husband, and I had ran a gym for 10 years, and my whole life was fitness and nutrition for over 10 years and running a business, and I found myself just searching for something deeper. The thing I loved the most about working in the gym was the one-on-one connections and like really meeting other people, like, and understanding their own mental issues. And when you would know as a personal trainer, you become like kind of a coach, right? They share everything going on, and I would feel these deep connections of wanting to help them on this deeper level. And it just didn't feel satisfying anymore to be giving out fitness and nutrition plans. I wanted to help people heal on a deeper level. So I was looking at different like therapy programs, like to go back to school to become a psychologist or psychotherapist. And synchronistically, everywhere I turned, Marissa Peer was coming up, and she's the founder of RTT Hypnotherapy. And I was just so intrigued. I was diving deeper and deeper and wanting to understand what hypnosis and hypnotherapy was. And I wanted to dive in like for my own self, like for my own self-discovery, to understand why I struggled with all of these issues. I had no understanding like why I had the mental battles I did, because I thought I grew up in, a perfect home. I had a house, I had clothes, I didn't need for like everything, but yet my mental health was chaotic. Like I procrastinated, and I wanted to help other people on a deeper level. That's really the main takeaway, is I just wanted to help people on a deeper level than physicality, than looking a certain way. Because I knew when I got the body that I should have loved, I still wasn't okay mentally. I felt like a stranger in my body. And I know I've worked with hundreds of clients that feel that same way. When they get the body they love, they're still not happy. And as a hypnotherapist, I always ask clients, like, if I had a magic wand, what is the one thing I could give you? And 99.9% of the time, people just say they want to be happy. Like it's this simple thing. Everybody just strives. They want to be happy, yet our own internal mind and body prevents that.
I have heard about two different kinds. One is a hypnotist and a hypnotherapist. They're two different things, right? So I would love for you to explain for those who don't know yet and they are kind of hesitant to try it,
Yeah.
and the difference between hypnotherapists being doing hypnotherapy and regular therapy, that talk therapy. That's one of the guided questions that I had here for you.
Yeah, so there's different kinds of hypnotherapy and hypnotherapists out there. What I specialize in is regression hypnotherapy into past memories, into the subconscious mind. There's other hypnotherapists that do like guided imagery to create safety and somatic release in the body. And in talk therapy, we're really working at a conscious level, which is 5% of our brain. And to really access deeply into our subconscious with hypnosis, we're accessing 95% of the brain. So we're able to go in to really uncover what experiences shaped our beliefs and interpretations about the world, about ourselves. And so, yeah, I find it's so beneficial. Like talk therapy is amazing. I work with lots of clients that do regular talk therapy, and they'll tell them they're going to see a hypnotherapist, and they're always so supportive. They're always like, yes, that is such a great idea, to really get to the root cause, the root issue. And that's what regression hypnotherapy is. And I've regressed clients to their own mind leads them to what timeline we go to, but But in regression, I've regressed to pre-utero in clients. They're in their mother's womb or a brand new baby. We remember, but we don't consciously have access to that. And really, like, hypnosis is just, it's a sleeping of the nervous system, because we're built to protect. We're built to protect ourselves in every level, and the subconscious mind is trying to protect you. And that's why we develop all of these issues. It's really like uncovering where the fear is and where the protection is.
Is that something that you have seen through your own experience and your clients or friends, anyone, that they have become fearless, completely fearless? Is that something that, is that what we are aiming for when we do hypnotherapy, or it's,
Yeah, it's yeah, definitely part of it. Like, we're so fear led, even if we don't really understand that fear is leading our behavior, our internal thoughts, our internal visuals. But deep down, fear is the driver because we're built to protect ourselves. So, really trying to let go to the flow. And even with my own healing, like, it's always, I have to constantly remind myself to let go. Not needing to know every little answer, not needing to know every outcome, is to let go to the flow of life. And when you do that, is so freeing.
I have heard a term that was very interesting. It's almost like relaxed appreciation, that you just relax and you appreciate everything as it is. So that's a form of
Yeah.
acceptance, of surrendering to the flow of life
Yes.
as
That's
a practice.
exactly it.
So does it end that practice in a way, or this is a practice for life? Um, this dance with fear.
Yeah, I think it gets easier and easier as you become more aware. Awareness is really our greatest tool. When we become aware of what, when fear is showing up, how it's showing up, we can, sit with it, ask it questions, and then, like, learn to, like, let it flow through us, let go. Like, what is the real threat if X, Y, and Z happens? But yeah, it's all about that surrender and letting go of control, which really helps us, break free to be happy.
I do taste feelings. It's almost like tasting feelings. It's kind of interesting the way
Yeah.
it's almost like it seems like we have all these tools naturally. It's fascinating, right? When we need them, they show up. Some people call it the inner wisdom, or the inner guide, or the soul. I don't know exactly what it is.
It's that oneness. It's that understanding that you are supported. And if you're aware and you're listening, the tools are going to come to you. The synchronicities are going to happen when you wake up to being connected, to knowing that, this is, a big phrase always used is, life's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And when you can live in that mindset of not worrying that the catastrophe is going to happen and you need to control every single situation and outcome so catastrophe doesn't happen. When you let go to the flow of life, life lets it all in.
When did you realize that or embody that truth, Melissa? Did that happen through hypnotherapy, or was it a different event?
I think it's been like an ongoing kind of like, I probably really let that sink in a few years ago, but through our own healing journey, there's like ups and downs, and with complex PTSD, there's triggers, and it's that constant effort. It takes effort to remind ourselves that. And I use hypnosis recordings for my clients. Every time we have a session, they get a recording that they have to listen to every single day, because it's really creating those neural connections, because our wires get crossed with trauma and experiences and interpretations. And when those wires get crossed, it's hard to remember. And I find hypnosis recording so beneficial because it's that constant reminder to the subconscious mind that you are safe. You're safe to let go. You're safe to be open and love yourself authentically for who you are. And we need those reminders, because when we've lived our lives for so many years with internally negative thoughts about not being good enough, not being important, not being worthy in love, it doesn't flip overnight. It takes effort, and I think it's ongoing to constantly remind yourself of your lovability, of your worthiness. And when you do that repetition over and over again, it creates those new neural pathways to like sink in, to believe it.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
true. I love that because I resisted before, like doing something like that, repetition. But then I came to understand that programming happened through repetition too. It was many years of programming. So to reprogram,
Yes.
it takes the same kind of effort. It's almost
Yeah.
going back to the same approach, the same source of the problem where it started. So that really makes sense so much more now than ever for some reason. I have been trying hypnotherapy, so um,
That's
oh, I have
amazing.
been trying for the last month, I think, and has been fascinating. It started with yoga nidra. I know it's different, but it feels almost like very similar in a way. Hypnosis really,
Yeah.
when I'm listening to it and going through, is almost like a guided meditation. So is there really,
Mhm.
I'm wondering if there's a difference. Can you explain that in a way? What's the difference between meditation and then guided meditation, hypnosis or hypnotherapy, and yoga nidra?
Yeah, hypnosis, it's really personal. Like it's really talking directly, when we make hypnosis recordings, directly to the individual with words that really resonate with them and their life and their goals and aspirations. And that can be really important. Guided meditations are so amazing too. I like, they're all beneficial. Um, with my personalized hypnosis recordings, they're really directed for that one individual, and they're crafted as a team. We kind of make them together through prep work, and to know what they need to hear, because everybody knows what they need to hear to create that safety, to let go of the fear, to develop more self compassion and self love. I meditate and do yoga daily because it really helps my nervous system regulation. And I notice when I don't practice daily, the difference in my energy in my body. It's more higher, like I like, that's how I kind of like vibrating a little bit more. And it's a release. I think all of these practices are so beneficial, and I always say, like, do what feels right for you, what feels so good for that one person.
That's good to know. So it's not a good idea to look to go on YouTube and try to find hypnosis recording that you can apply to yourself because it's very personal and that makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. So, like, yes, I also actually, I do put some hypnosis recordings on YouTube, and specifically for specific issues like confidence, self-love, for sleeping. Those are more generalized for really, like, which are, it's so important. And it is so helpful for anyone. I think I was speaking directly to when I work one-on-one with clients. We make that really, really personal, but it's so good for anyone to hear positive and uplifting things. And the difference, a little bit, the difference of like meditation and hypnosis is really being guided to that deep level, into the subconscious mind, into the relaxation of the nervous system, going deep down within self. And you can put yourself and do a self hypnosis as well. And I can share how to do that. I use I use the induction of hypnosis to help my kids fall asleep at night. And it's really beautiful just to help their nervous systems just and rest for the night.
The mind, the brain's very plastic, right? It's always very open to new suggestions, and it can change. I don't know why it's so, when it comes to conventional medicine, it has been this challenge to find healing or permanent solution per se for PTSD, CPTSD, and different kinds of trauma. Why you think that is? Because the inherently the brain, it's very open to change. It can change. It's very possible to change. So I wonder why some of the systems, modalities don't work.
Yeah, with complex trauma, a lot of it usually starts like as an infant, as a child, and the complexity of PTSD is the repetitive nature of it. Growing up in a toxic environment, having a depressed mother as a caregiver, children rely heavily on their parents' nervous systems to regulate, and it is really hard to make that change. And I work with kids, I work with teenagers now, and I love working with kids because it's easier. Their minds are more open. They're easier to put into hypnosis. They're more willing to take the suggestions because this is the opportunity for them to shift at a younger age. Like you said, the mind's like plastic. When we can help our younger generation at earlier ages, it's going to set them up for more success in life. And I don't think that we have enough information out there in the world to how critical and crucial it is the first few years of a child's life and emotionally nurturing them. Like we talked about, like nature is your environment, your house, you're provided for, you have food and clothes, important. But what's critical and crucial is the emotional nurturing, helping your child deal with stress, being able to help them work through their big emotions and not shaming them or not denying their feelings or not ignoring them. Kids need for neural development and brain development, neural connections, it's a serve and return function. If a kid's serving, they're expressing, and there's a blank wall on the outside, their brain connections aren't going to develop properly. And that complexity of that repetitiveness over and over again, it really does make it challenging later in life for adults to heal from PTSD and complex PTSD.
Wow. So yeah, I love that too, Melissa, that you have children and you now, you already have that experience within your own personal life, and now you passing that on to other children professionally. So that's very, very helpful. We do need that. We need to start early. And I wish, yeah, I actually don't wish anymore. I used to wish to have had a mother that had the knowledge of how to regulate emotions, and but that's just something that it feels almost like a longing now.
Well, you're at a place now of like knowing that you're here for a reason, and you have this podcast and you're reaching millions of people because of the experiences you went through, because you know what it's like. That was part of your plan, that was part of your path. I once was told something that's always resonated with me so much, is that before you came here on this earth, you chose your parents. You chose your life. You chose the challenges because you're here for a reason. There's a purpose. You're meant to go through the hard times. You signed up for it. And that super took me out of victim mentality, to be like, I'm here to learn and grow and overcome these challenges for a reason. I'm meant to go through this, and to understand that it's all a domino effect from our experiences from our parents. They're struggling with issues from their parents and like back and back. And then you can have way more self-compassion for yourself, your parents, everybody on this planet because you have this deep understanding.
So there's something about truth that it really kind of carries me. So perhaps that's definitely part of what I do. I'm trying to do here, kind of have different voices to say that, to kind of confirm that that's what we need more than anything else, is to uncover our true nature. Once we do that, then I think this world will be a completely different place. Once,
I love
if it
that.
happens collectively, right, that would change everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we're here to like rise and spread this knowledge and awareness for more people wake up to the understanding of everything you just said.
Yes, yeah. And
Yeah.
to me, it's very, very simple because it has to do with kindness, like getting to, once you understand that you're connected to everything else, like gosh, like nature, so easy to see that with nature, that everything, trees are helping one another, right? To nurturing one another. Everything's so
Yeah.
connected. And so we are nature itself. So I want to talk about your book, A Journey
Sure.
to Emotional Healing, Self-Discovery. Talk to me about the paragraph that you mentioned off record briefly, and anything, and now it's open, anything that you wanted to bring into the conversation about your book.
Yeah, I really going back to school to get a certificate in child's mental health has really kind of sparked my interest in writing about my journey, but not out of like a really, it's not about the stories. It's really about spreading awareness about what's happening in the mind and body and why we behave a certain way. And with my complex PTSD healing journey, everything came to the surface. A lot of big panic attacks, flailing body, freeze moments, and learning about childhood psychology and what happens in the mind and body during these events. I am tying these concepts together through journey, through storytelling, and through backing that up by different theorists and psychologists explaining what's going on in the mind and body when this happens. And yeah, I would love to share a paragraph. It's kind of my epilogue, and this was the specific paragraph was about when I was in my healing journey, going through the thick of it all. And it, I'll just start. It says, as I stood there in the kitchen, I couldn't move. My entire body was frozen. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't break free. Every single cell in my body was locked in place, and the only thing I could move were my eyes. I scanned the room, desperate for my husband to notice that something was wrong, that I couldn't move. In my mind, I screamed for help, but no words came out. It felt like hours, but in reality, it was just minutes before he finally came over. I couldn't speak or move. I don't even remember what triggered it. Maybe it was a conflict between us, or maybe it was just a conflict in my mind. The next thing I remember, I was flailing on the ground, my arms and legs thrashing uncontrollably. My husband was desperate to help, but he had no idea what to do, and neither did I. And then I go into explaining exactly what happens in the brain and the body. I get emotional even just talking about that.
I can imagine that life becomes a lot more playful and then you don't take anything seriously. Of course, we still love and we still, I mean, love is one
Yeah.
of the things that I can never, I think it's so close to the true human expression. There's something about the
Yeah.
embodiment of that energy that then that would be love. And then you become very compassionate about, other people suffering unnecessarily, like, oh my God, I was there before.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes sense to you.
It completely makes sense to me. And what you talked about just a few minutes ago is you becoming the observer, essentially, it's kind of what my knowledge, like I think about, is kind of stepping out of your body and watching self and observing what's happening. And it helps, it helps you move through it in a different way when you become the observer. You also touched, yeah, a little bit on, when you pass away, or I don't know if you've spoken to anyone that had like a near death or out of body experience, but my husband did when he was a kid, and he describes it as that, like, best feeling he's ever felt in his life. And he was just love. He radiated it, and he didn't even want to go back into his body because it was just that complete wholeness of like love feeling.
My husband and I, we were watching Linkin Park. You probably heard about the band. They're from California. Have you heard about
Yeah, I know the band Linkin Park for
Chester? He
sure.
was the singer, right? The main singer. And he
Yeah.
committed suicide. They were showing a documentary with the recordings, and he was speaking about the mind. He turned that darkness into playfulness, into light, in a sense of talent. And he was really, that's when he felt free. And that's very, to me now, I feel it's very dangerous to do that. Because the mind is not a place, it's not a playful place, the truth is. And I have experienced that by being creative. Every time I got fearful, and when I was triggered with the PTSD, and I was really fearful, I would go into creativity and go to create something, and that would get me out of it. But the truth is, it never really got me out of it. It was always there in the background, that darkness. So it's when I was able to look at it, really face it, look, it's almost like entering a room that's really dark and not being afraid of it. Like, okay, I'm here now. So what do you want? What is it? What is about you?
Hmm.
And then that also changed a lot for me, being able to face darkness in the sense of fear, and not trying to escape it, trying to numb it, not trying to
Yeah.
transform into something else.
Like some healers will just say, just be love and light. But what we have to understand is there's darkness in all of us. And when we embrace both dualities, the dark and the light, and let that flow through us, because there is darkness in all of us, and there's light in all of us. And when you can accept and honor those dualities and work with them, I think you really wake up and understand so much more to life. And we live in a world of stories and experiences and interpretations, and our experiences is what shapes our mental health, because we interpret those experiences. Like I always say in hypnosis, like, it's never the event that happens, it's not the experience, it's the interpretations, it's the interpretations of self. And that, from those experiences, you develop feelings about self, and then you're trying to gain evidence to be like, okay, well, I feel this, and then other things show up in your life, and you're trying to gain evidence that it's true, and then you develop all these protective barriers, and we get wrapped up in stories and stories over and over. And it is so limiting when we are stuck in the victimized stories. And I think I lived in, without being conscious or aware of it, I lived in these mental victimizing stories in my mind for so long. And when I named it and I called it, and I didn't want to be a victim anymore, big shifts can happen.
Yeah.
Big shifts.
Yes. Thank you for saying that too about the stories, right? That's another one,
Yeah.
another a topic for another interview, itself, another episode. How the mind and the body, they love stories. They're like storytelling machines. And then
Yeah.
somebody said, if this is true, in which very much by science we can, I mean, it's so obvious that it's what happens. We're always creating stories. Then why not create a beautiful story, right? If we, I mean, that's what
Exactly.
I think. Just be aware that's all about storytelling.
Yeah.
So let's tell a really beautiful story.
Yeah. Or tell your mind a better lie, because the thoughts we think about ourselves is that's what creates your reality. So you might as well think amazing thoughts about yourself.
Yes. Yes, 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 a billion times. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being true to you, for being courageous. It takes courage, I know. It takes so much forgiveness, openness. So you just like there at the forefront, and that's to me, it's a warrior. I That's something that I really relate with for some reason. It's almost like a spiritual warrior, a soul warrior, somebody who is not
Mm,
afraid to try something that could change everything for better. That's not easy. I know it's not easy. So thank you so much, Melissa,
thank you
again.
so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here.
It has been beautiful. And I love to know when you have your the book comes up, please let me know, because I know that it's
I
not there
will.
yet. Do you have any idea when you'll be out there?
I'm hoping in the next 3 to 4 months. Yeah, it's all in process and editing, and I'm ready to start recording on Audible, and yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations, too. That's another
Thank you so
step. It's a big
much.
one. It's a huge accomplishment to write a book. It really, really
Yeah.
is. I
Yeah.
really, yeah, I honor that though. It's not an easy process in any way. Like there are
It's
so many steps.
I know it's never something I thought I would ever be even capable of doing, and it's just leaning into the uncomfortableness, and even when it's scary, it's yeah.
So I want to mention your services. So you offer rapid transformation therapy. That's one. You support children's emotional well-being. You offer personalized hypnotherapy recordings. You mentioned that earlier. You offer packages, other services like Reiki, trauma-informed
Yeah.
coaching, and support sessions. Gosh, I love how many offerings you have. And I know you have two other books on your website, right, Melissa?
Yeah, so my husband is an author, and he's oh, you would probably love to interview him. He's got quite the journey in the story as well. So he's got two published books, working on another one, and he produces music and writes, and yeah, and I do have free hypnosis audios on YouTube, and I just want everyone to have access to things, modalities that are going to help their inner dialogue to create shifts. I think everyone should have access to therapy without it being a cost.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
your generosity. That's beautiful to see too. So the website is alignbmcenergy.com. It will be clickable on the podcast notes, so it's easy to find. Is there
Thank you so
anything else
much.
that you left unsaid, Melissa, for this conversation?
I don't think so. I'm so honored to be on your podcast, and yeah, just thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you again. And we'll talk soon. We'll be in touch
Okay.
again, Melissa. Take good care
Thank
for
you.
now, my dear.
I will.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.